Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll. Today is the 11th of July and it's a bit overcast this morning. So I'm going to try to get some little clips or pictures for you, and I'm so anxious hoping it'll rain tomorrow. We have chances for rain tomorrow, and I really do want those because I'm not a morning person, and I stay out late at night till it's dark anyway, most usually to take care of getting the pictures for you, and I haven't done it in a while, so there's some things going on in the garden as far as many more blooms than there was. And I just missed showing you some things in the garden. So it's time to get some pictures. There's been a lot going on too in the garden. Not necessarily all in the garden either. I set this little trap for my rabbit because I would not mind him getting my keeping my lawn mowed for me at all, but he's also taking down some of my plants, so that's not a good thing. But I had to stop trying to catch him and put things in to try to catch raccoons. And if you've seen any of the the previous posts, you know that we've had our share of raccoons in the garden and trapped them in a live trap and took them off and put them out in the wild and hoped they didn't come back. So, but this time was different. It was horrible because we had a coon or coons, as it turned out. We didn't know how many, but we had them in our attic. They were in our attic, and it was horrible. It's terrible. You know how you feel if you hear something and you wonder, well, what in the world was that? And we knew what it was because we did be able to. Actually, I told my husband that I saw a coon up there. It's a little coon. It wasn't full grown. It wasn't a baby, but I guess you would call them babies. They were little, but they didn't. I don't think she had them up there. I really don't. They weren't up there all that long, but it was way too long for us, and we didn't know what to do. And come to find out, to have them removed cost up to and over $1,000. So we thought, well, we'll just try to catch them when they're out of there and then fix the hole where they got in. So we did try that. And actually, I don't know if they weren't all out or what the deal was, but we went back up on the roof. My husband did, and neither of us need to be up on a roof, but he wouldn't let me go up there, and he did all that for me as far as go up there and check and go up there and put an extra piece of hardware cloth and a board up there over it. But they came right back in. They just came right back in, and I had set the trap, and I read that they really very fond of fruit, so I put some fruit in there. I put some banana and some blueberries, and I thought they'll get this, but they did not. They didn't get it at all. My niece told me put some marshmallows in there, so I put some miniature marshmallows in there, and actually the marshmallows were gone, and at first I didn't know if they got them or if the ants got them or what got them. But anyway, they never did get in the trap. And then I put some sardines in the trap, and they did get those, but instead of going in through the little trap door, they actually just reached their little hands right through those little openings and just reached right in there and got them bit by bit and left everything else in there, and I guess they were satisfied. But by then, of course, we're wondering, are we ever going to be able to get rid of these things? And how many is up there anyway? Because I saw a little one, so I was assuming that it was, that there was just a little one out there. But there was quite a bit of noise in our attic, and I thought, are there two babies up there? What is going on up there? So we lived with coons in our attic for several days. And it looks like this little hibiscus has some buds on it, so hopefully it won't be long till we'll get to find out what color this one is. And I don't know if you remember how tiny this was when I put it in, and now it's so big and beautiful. So one night I was out here watering, and I got a late start, and it was dark. It wasn't pitch dark as far as I could still make out a little bit, but it was dark. And I finally finished up, and I heard a racket on the top of the carport, and so I called my husband and told him they're trying to come down from there. So we came out, and he said he looked up there. I couldn't really see up there because I'm too short. I could see a little place where they were coming out, where they had pulled it back off again and had fixed them an entrance again. So so he came out, and he said I saw one of them had dropped itself off of the roof and came down. And I knew they did that because when that one time, that's what happened when I was out here watering. And I had those little birds over there, and I could tell they had tried to get them because everything around them was just in disarray, knocked down, broken. All this area here, my little plant, I had to tie it back up because they had it all bent over. And I was sure the little ones were dead because I couldn't imagine them stopping until they actually got their job done and killed them. But luckily, thank God, they were okay. They were actually okay, and I was so happy that they were. I was so upset that we had raccoons in the attic, so upset that they killed my little cardinal family. And then that lifted my burden for the day. So I knew they did just drop themselves down off of the roof of the house. And he said he had seen one of them do that. And then my neighbor also was out in her yard, and she said that she saw a mother and a baby, and I had seen the mother this time when I called my husband in. And so I knew that there was two youth and one mother. And then as we watched them and she wasn't leaving, we realized there were 3 raccoons, baby ones or young ones, and a mother living in our attic. Oh, it was horrible. But now we knew, and also as soon as that one came out, that third one came out, it's clear to lock it up now. So my husband, we got our little flashlight, and he went up there in the dark with a flashlight, and I got a piece of hardware cloth that has tiny little spaces in between they couldn't get their hands through. And we put it up there, or he put it up there for me, and I listened because they'd been waking me up every morning when they came in. And I had a little pattern trying to figure out when they were up there and when they left, and maybe to do it when it was still light. But after the fireworks started, they stopped coming out until way late, and stopped coming back in till later. So I lost their little pattern. But luckily, because I was so late getting out that day, I ended up seeing them. And honestly, I think it's because people were praying for me. I did request prayer or I told some of my family what was going on, and they said they would pray for me. So actually, I think that's what helped. And then, of course, we were diligent to try to look and see ourselves what was going on if we could. And we waited because we knew they might still get back in, but we didn't. We have not heard a sound since. So thankfully, I'm hoping they're gone out of the attic. Praise the Lord for that. So that was a little harrowing experience that we would just soon not had. But now we've joined the ranks of others who've had raccoons in their attic. Things are still growing and looking good. And I don't know for sure if I've shown you that we've had some tiger lilies to bloom also. We've actually had several of them that bloomed and have gone away since I've got to show them to you. And this little coleus, this little ruffled coleus is looking pretty. It's kind of growing up a bit where it can really be noticed. And several of my taller lilies that are often called tree lilies have stopped blooming, but this one is just in full bloom. And look how the red crepe myrtle is looking now. It's so full of bloom and looking great. And my little peppermint lace crepe myrtle is looking good. It's got a few more blooms than the last time I showed it to you. Daylilies are still putting on in lots of places, and in a lot of places they've finished up. I was trying to get this little hummingbird for you. I think I'm getting it in, hopefully in where it's not all blurry. This tree lily is pretty much in full bloom also. And I'm wanting, if it'll stay cool a little bit. It's kind of cool this morning. Well, not cool, but it's not sweltering hot like you're in an oven, and that's how it felt the last few days when I was out here. Even late in that evening, it still was hot. but it did get better by the time I got inside. But I'm noticing how this pretty strawberry fields, I'm sorry, not strawberry fields, but strawberry drop coleus is just really putting out little panicles of their foliage everywhere, and I could take some of those little clippings and put them somewhere, but I don't know if I'll do that or not, because I don't know if they would live, for one thing, because the weather is it's not a good time for doing things like that. And yet, if you're going to try right before rain, if it comes with a little bit of temperature change to the cooler, sometimes that's the best time to go ahead and try that. And here's another of the crepe myrtles that's blooming. And I put that little, I saw one of these little strawberry drop coleuses came up volunteer, and I put it right here, so it'll hopefully fill this area a little fuller. It's so nice to be out here this morning, and it be cooler or not burning up hot. I'm glad you came on a stroll with me today. I wish you could feel the soft, gentle breeze, and it just feels wonderful. But we're not really in any forecast to have rain today, and the heat will be back on, I'm almost sure of it. But if it brings us some rain, that'll be wonderful. A chance to not have to be out for a day, or maybe even two, depending on how much rain we get. And my little pugster, periwinkle pugster, is looking terrible. I'm going to have to come out here and take off these old spent limbs and see if these two little ones that are looking healthy can just kind of overtake that, and hopefully it'll be able to come out of that and be pretty and live for me. So while looking online to see if I could find out how to get rid of my raccoons, as it turned out, my raccoon family, I did find out that they do not like peppermint oil, and they do make little, like, instead of mothballs, peppermint balls, and I ordered some of those. Of course, it's too late now to use them for those, but I don't mind. I'm just so glad they're gone. But they may come in handy. They say they repel skunks, raccoons, and rats. So we'll just hope we don't get anything else up in the attic or anywhere we don't want it. But we'll just kind of have to wait and see what the future holds. And I'm hoping that we get enough rain this time to soften up our hard ground. So that I can go ahead and dig up the daylilies that have naturalized. I want to get them out of my garden before they get any more of them, because they just keep going and going, and sometimes that's a good thing, but actually rarely is it, unless it's your ground cover you want to just keep going. But most plants, I just want a few of them. I don't want them to take over all my other plants. This is trying to fill out a little bit, but it's still got a long way to go. And this one is still filling out. I may have to trim down this little plant a bit. We'll see how it looks when it blooms. I did trim a few of my roses, the old dead ones, but there's still lots more I could be doing. It's just too hot. Not right at the moment, but it will be again today, I'm sure. There's so many blooms on the roses, so which is great when they're pretty, but when they're already looking, it's not a good thing to have to trim all those off. I did trim the ones off right here on this little Joseph's Coat Rose. My new little rainbow fizz spirea is not looking great either. I can tell they don't like that hot weather any more than I do. And some of my catnip is blooming that I put in these pots, and I can already tell that I'm going to like it. Just raising them up in a pot makes a world of difference. Here comes the sun, so that's already getting hot. It doesn't take long for your neck to get sweaty out here, and then everything else follows suit. But this little rose I have not trimmed off since it bloomed in the spring. It has so many on there, but when it blooms and they're all in bloom, it is a beauty. And this little rose is the one I definitely would love to come on out here and take these off, because they do look so ratty, like that like this one that I just showed you. Both of those definitely need trimming, of course, as well as this one too. I don't know when or if I'll get that done, but they would look so much prettier if I get the old ratty ones off, and they would have a chance to bloom some pretty fresh ones. And the same over on this other side of this little arch trellis, because these are looking horrible. And these are a little different variety. I ordered 2 of the same, and of course I was told we hope you enjoy this substitute. So, but I have. It has been fine. It's just a little different color, and sometimes 2 different color roses are pretty on a trellis. And here's another one of the tall, which I need to stake, but one of the tall lilies that's in full bloom. But if you remember, this one was in full bloom not very long ago, and it's spent now. There won't be any more blooms on it until next year. This is the catnip that's not on raised up in a pot, and you can see that it's still pretty, but you lose so much of it because the bottom part of it just kind of drops down and fills in with the rest of the foliage, and you don't see as many of the pretty panicles of blue bloom. And the Copper King hibiscus has a few blooms on it this morning. And we'll go on down this row because I'll try to get closer to this Carolina ruffled hibiscus that has some pretty bloom on it today also. And most all of the tall garden phlox is blooming and looking good. And I did take off a few of my zinnias yesterday while I was out here. I don't want them all to just turn crisp, and I don't have any out here. I'd like to keep them where they'll look fresh, at least some of them. And I did try to fix my little lamb's nose. I don't know if you had noticed that it had broken. So I need to go ahead and paint it, because you can tell this white is a little brighter and different than the rest of it. But once I paint it, I think it's going to look great. And the lace vine is looking great. And another good thing about the sedum, well, the main thing is you don't have to water it every day, and that's so wonderful. Just a day off can save you when you're having to do it every single day. But one good thing I was going to say is that this little one blooms in the spring, or close to spring. Usually it's in June, but it's usually still in the spring part of June. So, and then the rest of these bloom. Oh, this one blooms also in the spring. So I've got two that bloom in the spring, and the rest of these bloom a little bit later. And I think these stay in bloom. I'm sure this sedum, which is either I think it's actually the Autumn Joy, but it could be the Brilliant. But either way, it will bloom in the fall. So we'll have bloom both spring and fall. And then here is my pretty Carolina ruffled hibiscus in pretty bloom. And the peaches are beginning to, they're not soft yet, but they're definitely getting there. And if I can get it for you, which I'm not sure I can see that well enough that I can get it, but we've got a couple of pears on our pear tree. Let me see if I go down from here and just kind of follow it down, if I can find them for you. Which I don't think I'm getting them, but maybe I am. But anyway, we do have a couple of pears on our pear tree, and it's just a youth one, so hopefully we'll have a lot more in years to come. And I wanted to show you this little tall phlox because it's white, and it's called a David. So, oh, and while I'm here, I'm seeing this little girl. And it's representative of friends. So I got that to represent my friend Susie, because we've been friends since the 6th grade. Even though we had several years where we lived our lives totally apart when my children were young, and we just went in other directions in life, but not that much, as we came back together and found out so many things that we still have in common. And it was just like we were able to pick right up where we left off. It was wonderful. And I might tell you that Susie's nephew lives with her, and Susie went on a trip to see the Ark, and he took care of her flowers for her. He watered them while she was gone, and he went outside and was watering, and he said, "Oh no, they're all dying." He didn't know that the hibiscus bloom only lasts a day, like a daylily, and then you've got these old blooms just hanging off of it or dropped down on the ground around it. So he got scared and went to the next door neighbor asking what could he do, and she said, "You are doing fine, just keep up the good work. Those just fall off on their own every day, not a problem. And again, I don't know if you can see these or not, but I'm seeing that I have more than 2. I have at least 5 hairs on here. I'm going to come over here closer and hopefully you can at least see one of them. If I can get it where you can. And I'm taking this little peach in and letting it ripen in a brown paper bag because it's just too beautiful to let the bugs and ants get it, and birds. I kept trying to see what was in our attic at the ends of both of the east and west sides of our house. There's a little rectangular place, I guess I don't know if it's to let air in or what exactly purpose it's for, but that's where they were getting in, and I did finally get a picture of it, and I showed it to my husband, and he finally believed me because I had seen the little one up there once before, and he said, "You're right, it's raccoons." I put some little seedlings that I started in the house in here, and they didn't seem to be doing anything for quite some time, but look at them now. They're beginning to grow up. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.